the prophet does not look at time linearly. We think of beginning, middle, end. There's a timeline, a sequence of events. The prophet doesn't look in that. They look at patterns. You can see repetitions of the exact same cycles over and over and over again. You have, we'll call it stasis. This is where Israel is in the land and in obedience. And then there's rebellion. After rebellion, there are prophets who continue to call the people back. When they continue to rebel, there's eventually exile. After there's exile, the people call on the name of the Lord, eventually recognizing their sins, and the Lord hears their cry and brings them back to the land. And so there's restoration and there's redemption. And then it goes back to that stasis, is what we'll call it for lack of a better word. That is not a linear track of time. That's cyclical time, meaning the same pattern can be spoken to across all eras and all epochs. When Isaiah is speaking to the people, as opposed to Elijah, or as opposed to Jeremiah or Ezekiel, as opposed to Daniel the prophet, as opposed to Zechariah, who's with the second temple, the reason they can have a coherency and their prophecies often mirror each other and build upon one another is because they are seeing time in an eternal dynamic where they don't look at it as just one big long event of here's what's going to happen. There's a recapitulation of events. They continue to build toward each other. There's a trajectory that we're ultimately going to where Messiah comes and there's the kingdom of God established and all of the nations flood to Jerusalem to honor God and they clutch to the skirt of the Jew, as it says in Zechariah, because they know God. They've seen him. This is how we get things like already, not yet. That's the idea that, yes, there are prophecies who have been fulfilled now, but it's not yet ultimately fulfilled. So yes, the kingdom of God is broken in now. Yes, we are seated with Christ in heavenly places now. Yes, we have the dynamic of the inheritance now. But that doesn't mean that Christ does not come back with his reward in hand. It doesn't mean that we are not going to gain an inheritance after this. You can have both. And the prophets lived in that dimension because they didn't see time as just step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. They saw it as here's the trajectory that continues to repeat until it finally consummates.